Adherence is the biggest indicator of success. And the last one, number 5 of the things that I find myself saying all the time in my coaching, is probably the one I've said more often than any of the others. I'll have a lot of people who maybe have a slow couple of weeks, maybe life's been rough and they're not getting to the gym as much as they want to, and they're worried that the plan needs to maybe adjust and change because it's not getting them progress anymore. They've hit the dreaded plateau. Adherence is the biggest indicator of success. I've said this in my coaching. I've said it to people that have shot me DMs on Instagram or whatever. This is something I say all the time. It's important. There are definitely times where adjustments are needed. And I don't know, that's why I'm here. I'm here to help fine-tune, tweak, adjust. That's a big part of what coaching is. But adherence comes first. It's always adherence before adjustments, be that with nutrition, with training, with anything fitness related. That should be your first focus, is making sure you're adherent to the plan, whatever that plan is. A decent plan followed perfectly will get you better results than a perfect plan followed decently. I guess we'll put that as number 6. Like, that's another thing I've said a lot, but it fits right in with the fact that adherence is the biggest indicator of success. If anyone is ever frustrated with the amount of progress they're making, if you want to make more progress, like, there's not anything wrong with wanting to kick it up a notch. Like, even if you're not frustrated, you're like, man, this has been great, I want to keep it going, I'm like feeling super motivated, I want to take it to the next level. The best way to see more results, the best way to see more progress, to be more successful, is to be more adherent to the plan. Time and time again in my coaching with the people that I work with, obviously, because these are the examples that I'm seeing most in depth, but time and time again, the people who are adherent to the plan get better results. But they're far from perfect. They're never perfect. I love food, and I'm fully supportive of someone taking a day off just to, like, I don't know, go full fat kid and enjoy good food because it's their anniversary or their kid's birthday. That's not a perfect plan. Perfection doesn't matter. We just want progress. I'm not over here putting together perfect programs, but I'm putting together programs that people can follow consistently. And that adherence is what's going to lead to success. And if people want to take their results up a notch, if you want to take your results up a notch, the way to do it is to be more adherent to whatever sort of plan you're following. Now, in the programs and the coaching that I do, it's usually based in macronutrients. So that means having daily goals for protein, carbs, and fats, and you know, essentially you'll track your foods to make sure that you are hitting your daily goals. And sometimes I'll get texts or emails from people having a mini freak out, which is totally fine, totally normal, happens to the best of us. But having a mini freak out because they're tracking every day, they're being really, really diligent, and yet they're not seeing the progress they want to see. The results they're expecting aren't coming. And they're just kind of like, dude, what gives? It's interesting because tracking in and of itself does not guarantee progress. And you could substitute tracking for anything that's out there. Intermittent fasting in and of itself doesn't guarantee progress. Keto in and of itself doesn't guarantee progress. Whole30 in and of itself doesn't guarantee progress. Cutting carbs in and of itself doesn't guarantee progress. Intuitively eating in and of itself does not guarantee progress. None of these things do. And that's because the main driver of progress has to do with calories in versus calories out. It's energy balance. If you're in a caloric deficit, meaning you're consuming fewer calories than you're burning each day, you will lose weight. If you're in a caloric surplus, that means that you're consuming more calories than you're burning each day, you will gain weight. And depending on your goals, you will leverage either a deficit or a surplus to either gain weight, be that lean muscle, or lose weight, like fat. And then there's also maintenance that's right in the middle, basically eating in an equilibrium where you're not going to be gaining or losing too much weight. At the end of the day, it all comes down to calories in versus calories out. And any sort of plan or program, regardless of the mechanism or means, can help you do that. But it can't, won't, and never will if you don't follow that plan. Again, adherence is the biggest indicator of success. So what do we do about it, right? Okay, adherence is the biggest indicator of success, but what are these action steps? Well, there are two. The first one is to just get a plan. Get yourself a well-designed plan, something that is going to help enable the sort of progress you're looking for. Be that gaining muscle or losing fat, you need a plan and a program that's gonna help you do that. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but it needs to be effective. So if you don't have one, get one, just like moving buddies in Toy Story. There are a couple of different ways you could go about getting yourself a well-designed plan. One, and I'm maybe a little biased about this one, is hire a coach. Get someone who's on your side, in your corner, and on your team to help you get the results that you want, who can fine-tune and design a plan and program specific to you and your life and your preferences and all of that jazz. That's what I do for a living. I coach people, nutrition training, all of it. You could do that, or you could also just reach out to me. Like I like helping people. That's why I do what I do. So feel free to reach out if you're trying to figure out what of all of the things in all of the internet land is going to be best for you to do given your life, your goals. I'm here to help, and I'm happy to do it. So that's action step number one. When it comes to adherence, you gotta have a plan in order to follow said plan. And I wanna make sure, personally, I wanna go out of my way to make sure that you have a plan that is going to work. Not that might work, not that like, oh, look good on this one article I read. Like, no. I wanna make sure you have a plan for you that is gonna help you move forward. Now, action step number two is really, really simple. And I mean that literally. It's to keep things simple. What you want to do is set yourself up for success with realistic objectives and process-based goals. You want to make sure you're setting yourself up for success and not making it harder on yourself than it needs to be, which I think we as humans often do with lots of things. We like making things hard on ourselves. I don't know why. It's a matter of just breaking down whatever the long-term goal is into something that's going to be more manageable. So oftentimes when I'm working with people, it's a macronutrient based plan. So there's the protein, carbs, and fats that we're trying to hit every single day. And essentially what we want to do is make sure those are realistic. Like starvation is not a dietary strategy. So you want to make sure you have a program and plan that fits you and your life. There is nothing noble about going over restrictive with whatever approach you are taking, because then what happens if it's maybe cutting carbs a little too harshly, if it's like semi-starvation for the sake of weight loss, then what happens is it makes adherence harder, and in so doing it makes progress slower, even though logically it's like, oh well, if I eat less I'm gonna lose more because science, and I did say calories in versus calories out, so like kind of. But if we over restrict, if we have a plan that's all too rigid, then we can't follow it. And when we have a plan we can't follow, success simply won't happen as well as a plan we can follow. And that's what it boils down to. So yes, pick a well-designed plan, find a well-designed plan, and I'll help you do that. But then also make sure you're kind of chunking that down into very realistic objectives in the day-to-day or the week-to-week. A friend, Mark Fisher, talks about making each day a game that you can win. And that's gonna kind of create momentum, right? If you're succeeding every single day in the small, manageable, realistic objectives and process-based goals, if you're doing that every day, you're building this positive momentum, you're trucking along, and success is inevitable in that case. Now, on the flip side of that, if each day feels like a game you simply cannot win for the life of you, you're setting yourself up to feel discouraged, and adherence in the face of discouragement, in the face of frustration and disappointment, adherence is going to decline. And with a decline in adherence, success will inevitably follow. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you've got that well-designed plan, and you want to make sure you set up day-to-day objectives, day-to-day mini goals, week-to-week mini goals that are realistic, that are going to help lead you towards the progress that you deserve. And by setting those as realistic goals, you're going to be able to stick to them. You're going to be able to leverage adherence as the biggest indicator of success, and you're going to be able to see that progress that you've been looking for all along, which is kind of cool too, right? By adding in a little wiggle room, you actually enable yourself to make that much more progress. And not only do you enable more progress, but you enable that progress to be maintained that much longer. When you can follow a plan, not just today, not just tomorrow, but for the rest of forever, that's a plan that's going to lead to lasting progress. And that's the progress that really matters. Not only is adherence the biggest indicator of success, it's also the biggest indicator of sustainability. And that's what we want, right? We don't want just to be successful right now. We want success that's gonna last. We want lifelong progress. And a plan you can follow is going to mean success now and sustainability later. It's a win-win. Alright, so thanks for watching. As you've maybe noticed by now, this is actually a series where I dive into five of the things I say most often in my coaching. If I'm saying them in my coaching, the rest of the world could probably benefit from hearing it as well. That's why I wanted to create this series. I'm gonna drip them out one by one, and then I'm actually gonna put them all together in a more condensed kind of compilation style video as well. So, if you liked what I had to say today, one, go ahead and like it, like literally like the video, but also go ahead and share it with people that you think might also benefit from hearing these nuggets of truth that I share with the people that I coach to help them love food, be fit, and make progress. And then keep your eyes peeled for the next one. This was one part of 5 total, so make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're liking this stuff so you don't miss the next ones. Really appreciate you watching. I don't know, these are all things that I say so often in my coaching, and as such, I think they're things that need to be said more often in fitness at large. So I hope you were able to get something out of this. Feel free to share it with anyone and everyone and help people make the progress that is so elusive in this world of fitness.